Hello, everyone. I was really interested to hear Federico's presentation because I was actually at BitMEX in 2017 and went through a lot of that drama. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. So we're talking today about why privacy matters. And this is a very important topic. Web3 is the era of the truly decentralized web, where people will have more control over their data and privacy. I'm Lisa Loud, and the reason I'm here with you today is that these words from Vitalik resonate with me very strongly. I believe that privacy is one of the most important conversations that we can have in this space today. Paleoanthropology studies the stone footprints of beings who lived thousands of years ago. We can even tell what the first humans in a continent were doing and where they were more than 20,000 years later. So my name is Lisa Loud. I'm the executive director of Secret Network, and my background is from Apple. I started out as a developer at Apple, and then I moved to PayPal. At PayPal, I was leading digital acquisition for the North American market for merchants. And at one point, I just decided, look, PayPal used to be this innovative place where fintech was happening, and we were changing the face of the world. But in 2017, I realized PayPal just wants to be a bank. And there was this new thing happening called Bitcoin and derivatives, and I started trading on BitMEX. I was really into it, and I spent a lot of time in the troll box, those of you who may remember that troll box. So I got to learn a lot from the other traders, and I ended up talking to a lot of the people who worked at BitMEX, and I got to know them, met them, and decided that they needed someone who knew how business ran, because there were a lot of traders in that team. And so they asked me to come on board as head of marketing. As it turned out, I kind of ran operations as well, because they were really good at trading operations, and they had the first perpetual swap. It was really exciting. The product was amazing. That's why I joined. But actually running the company, that was like outside of a trader's purview normally. So there was a lot of work to do to get that up and running. So I started when we were a very small team, and over in 2018, the beginning of 2018, we're doing about $6 billion in trading a day. And that growth, that hyperscaling, was partly I contributed to that, and I was part of that hyperscaling. And so after BitMEX, I worked at Shapeshift. I was COO at Shapeshift, and then Shapeshift became a DAO. I started a DeFi company, so I was really interested with Federico's description of DeFi and what the limitations are, because I started this company to build tools for institutions that would want to trade in DeFi. So this concept of having centralized exchanges do DeFi instead of DEXs is really an interesting concept. I want to hear more about it. Anyway, so then in May this year, I decided to join Secret Network because I think that privacy is one of the most important things that we need to consider as blockchain gains more adoption. Right now, we're seeing transparency everywhere, and that's great. But over time, that could lead to an erosion of our rights and our privacy. Have you ever felt like someone is watching every move that you make? Maybe there's something suspicious about that pigeon who's outside your window. Something just a little off. If you're navigating the blockchain world, you might have even more exposure, even if you have nothing to hide. So because of transparency, because this is the most transparent and most important conversation today, I'm talking to you today, whether you are a company or a consumer or a trader or a creator. This is something that will affect every single one of us. Celebrities get it. Whatever they do, wherever they go, someone takes note. Imagine if you had to live this way. Someone knows, or everyone knows, whenever you order large fries at the fast food joint or have a fight with your spouse. It's like living in a fishbowl. Imagine if you had to live that way. That would be crazy. And it's almost impossible to even get a day off from being watched. Think of blockchain like that one neighbor who has an eye on everybody in the neighborhood. You know, they're always peeking through the curtains, making sure they know what you're doing, every digital move you make. Mr. Chain is updating his ledger. Oh, Alice just sent Bob 0.3 Bitcoins. What is going on? Is there something we should know about that? Let's tell everybody. But this isn't just about being nosy. Every transaction that you make is recorded permanently. Think about it like this. You could buy a unique art piece online, and the next day, your whole family knows how much you spent on that. Could be embarrassing. But whether you're buying digital artwork or you're signing a digital contract, every mark you make in the blockchain era is etched permanently on the digital world. And transparency is a great thing when we're talking about those glass-bottom kayaks where you can see everything under your boat, whales, manatees, seals. It's so awesome. Or for honest conversations, very good to be transparent. But it's not so great when it comes to our personal data or our interactions with our favorite brands. We're already having a small taste of what this is like. I'm sure you've had the experience where you talked about something and ads popped up on your screen. I had this the other day. I was having a meeting with a colleague and he said, "Oh, I need to go, my cat just got out, I need to go look for her." And later on in the afternoon, I looked at my screen and I had these cat collar locator ads on my screen. Very specific and very weird. Like, it's just kind of creepy to have people watching you like that. And imagine that multiplied by 100. And I want to let you know that he did find his cat, because I know some of you are worried. Have you ever had a surprise birthday party ruined because somebody shared your calendar and they saw it? Or a friend accidentally finds out what you bought them for a gift because they saw your search history? These things are becoming more and more prevalent, and when we're talking about blockchain, it gets even more difficult to maintain these surprises. It's more than having people know about your potentially embarrassing splurges. Extreme transparency can lead to surveillance. It can even lead to security threats or danger. You could be kidnapped, especially when you're dealing with substantial amounts of cryptocurrency or money or sensitive matters. It gets kind of scary. And if you are a company thinking about privacy, there's so many business processes that rely on confidentiality. Imagine if we tried to get Uber on blockchain and everybody your driver knows your entire financial history. It's just not practical. There are so many instances where an application of transparent blockchain is not applicable to the real world. And many other business processes like A/B tests, price testing. If Group A finds out that Group B got a 50% discount, how valid are your test results, right? So that's why it's important for companies too. Also, privacy is seen, or maintaining your customers' privacy is seen as the ultimate mark of integrity in today's world. So if you are leading a company or a small business, I encourage you to think about building on a foundation of privacy as the very first thing that you do. Don't add it in later. It's much harder to do. So here's another example of if you published your childhood diary online and everybody could read it. That would not be good. So blockchain without privacy is like that diary without a lock. But there is a silver lining to this. There's a beacon of hope. Secret Network, which is why I joined this organization, provides confidential computing. And technologies like that, like confidential computing, and technologies that emphasize privacy are our modern day knights that can solve some of these problems. I've put up some examples here of applications that Secret Network can be used for. Gaming is very important. Poker, you don't want to know your opponent's hand. DeFi is a great example. If you know what someone is going to trade, if you see it in the mempool, you can front run it, you can sandwich arbitrage them, you can extract all that value out of their transaction. It's not exactly a hack. There were a lot of hacks recently. There's a lot of hacks in DeFi recently, and most of them come from the Lazarus group, as it turns out, well, at least 30%. But this is not a hack. This is just using DeFi the way it was meant to be used, allows people to extract value before you even complete your transaction. So companies and institutions, we're waiting for them to come in. They can't really come in if their entire trading strategy is transparent to everybody else. The smart contract wallets, payments, transactions, art. Think about if you put your NFT on your Twitter profile, and everyone knows now what your wallet is. They can attach your doxed on your wallet. Everyone knows who you are and what else you have in your wallet. There's just so many things that I don't think we're thinking. Not everybody is thinking about when they're using NFTs, when they're using blockchain. And Secret Network is we're encouraging the conversation around privacy, which is happening now, finally. We've been around for many years, and now finally everyone is talking about privacy. So now is the time to join this conversation. Secret Network is sort of like that protective diary lock that keeps our secrets safe. So privacy is a bad word in today's world in a lot of ways. But it's not about hiding criminal activity. It's about protecting your discretion and giving us back our power to choose who knows what about us and when and where. Without privacy, the beautiful dream of decentralization can become a nightmare where we're under surveillance all the time. Glenn Greenwald wrote a book, and he breaks the "I've nothing to hide" myth. He shows that even the people who who say they don't care about privacy take many acts to protect their own privacy. He says that our behavior actually changes when we're being watched, and we behave according to what we think is the expectation of the person watching us. Mass surveillance suppresses our freedoms in so many ways. They're subtle and explicit. We should care about it. Imagine a world where you're constantly under the spotlight, dancing to someone else's beat instead of your own internal compass or your own internal music. So, same goes for companies. If you leave your customers' data out for everyone to see, it's like it's leaving a secret recipe out. It's not respecting your customers, and it's not creating a good environment for them and for your future business. So, as we dive deeper into the age of blockchain, remember it's not about hiding. It's about maintaining our individuality and freedom. When we interact with the blockchain, we leave footprints that are permanent. And we don't need a paleoanthropologist to uncover those digital footprints. The blockchain does it for us. And it becomes permanent instantly. If we make those accidental footprints that are too deep to erase, it's going to be impossible for us to ever recover some semblance of a normal life. So let's work towards a future where our digital footprint echoes our own individuality and our own freedom. Let's build together for privacy. If anyone is a developer here, we invite you to join our conversation, to join our Telegram, our Discord, our forum on our website. And let's work together towards a future where our digital footprint echoes our individual freedom and lets us have our individual dance. And remember that Web3 is about controlling your own data and your own privacy, as Vitalik said. Thank you. I can take questions if there's any questions. I think we have a few minutes.
Thank you. Firstly, how do you see the landscape of secret equivalent blockchains with new European regulations and stuff like that with regards to onboarding, not necessarily onboarding, but on-ramping onto secret networks. Without like KYC and things like that, it's becoming more and more difficult to get onto the decentralized side of blockchain. Thank you.
Yes, it certainly is. I live in North America, and it's also becoming very difficult there. The first thing I'll say is that Secret Network is compliant with GDPR. If you build with Secret Network, it is possible to remove information after it's been created, or remove access. You can actually burn that data, which is not true of Ethereum, for example, not true of a lot of blockchains. So that's the first thing. But I think your question is more about on-ramping into exchanges, which is a very big challenge right now for many of us. Secret Network is more privacy as a service, so we are not focused on the transactions. We don't have, so I can talk about generally how the landscape is. The privacy networks, I think you're asking about how we can do KYC and maintain privacy. And the thing about Secret Network is that you can provide your data and authenticate yourself without sharing your data publicly. So that data can be, it's like a zero-knowledge proof, where you can provide your data, you can provide your identity to whichever exchange you want to onboard into and on-ramp into, and that doesn't dox you for everybody. It's not publicly available. In fact, even the exchange can only access it through the key that you provide, and as long as you provide it. So it's not like they forever have your data. So it's a slightly, if centralized exchanges built with this functionality, with Secret Network, it would be easier to reach compliance with European regulations.
Thank you.
Great question, thank you.
Another quick question, we have 1 minute. Anyone?
Hi, thank you for your panel, for your talk. Right now you say like, it's nice if we can hide what we bought. Let's take an example, the NFT. But I can still like track your footprint, and I know that you like the NFT is public, so if I bought, I can hide from my wallet maybe, but it's visible that I purchase it somewhere. So like I can still know that you have that NFT.
Well, that data will not be public. If you use Secret Network NFT applications like Stash, you can create an NFT and your wallet address will not be published with the NFT. So it's a different paradigm. It's no longer, if you think in purely ETH world and purely transparent blockchain world, it's hard, it doesn't make sense, but that is why you need to build with privacy as the foundational tenet. So that you can show your NFT and nobody could see it. Nobody could see who you are. I just have one question and then I'll step down for the next speaker. I'm interested in knowing how many people here have heard of Secret Network before today? Wow, that's a lot. Okay, about half the room, I'd say, maybe 40%. All right, thank you so much for your attention and enjoy ETHMilan. And thank you, Davide, for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much, Lisa. It was a pleasure having you.